For weeks now, Donald Trump has been obsessed with pushing a lie that Kamala Harris didn't work at McDonald's. Now, of course, that is obviously false. And even before this presidential election, Kamala Harris in campaigns past has talked about working at McDonald's. But Donald Trump has used this conspiracy to not only attempt to belittle Kamala Harris, but belittle people who do work at McDonald's and really belittle work in general, something Donald Trump is not familiar with, a hard day's work himself. But he was so obsessed with this lie, so obsessed with this weird attack on Kamala Harris that, as we saw today, Donald Trump went to a McDonald's to work. And I put work in quotes for a very specific reason, because as this story develops, we are getting new breaking news about the nature of what Donald Trump did at McDonald's today and the planning that happened before it. And he is not happy about what is being exposed. And we are going to get into that, a whole group of lies. And that's not a shock that there's a bunch of lies with Donald Trump, but that happened today at McDonald's. And we're going to talk about all that, like I said. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button and join the community that we are building on this channel. It really means a lot to me, and it goes a long way. Now, before we get into some of the biggest lies of the day, I want to check out a little bit of Donald Trump at McDonald's.
Going to help you with the bag.
Jojo, you're an expert at this, huh? Let's go.
Okay, President Trump, so for our first order that's going out the window, we're going to need 3 medium fries. So would you like to put the medium fries in the bag?
I think so, yeah. So
Right,
we'll do that.
so we're going to start
Because
on
you know
this
who's
side.
taking these, right? Mine. Do they ever ask for more salt?
Sometimes.
Supposing we want some extra salt, can we just go like that?
We will give them salt packets.
Watch this sucker. I love salt. Wait a minute, I spilled some. Listen, I'm very superstitious. Now it's over the left shoulder. Now I'm okay. Let's go.
All right, yep. So we're going to start from this side.
Yeah,
okay?
fine. Okay, put them in standing up, right?
Correct.
So I wanted to start with that clip, not only because it shows just how awkward he is and how much I don't really think he even wants to be there. I don't know if this was his idea, someone on his staff. He really just made himself look ridiculous when someone had to put the apron on him. He wasn't wearing a hairnet. I feel horrible for anyone whose food and fries was filled with whatever that rat's nest is. It's probably mostly hairspray at this point. But Donald Trump was not working per se, but of course we are going to get into that in a little bit. But one of the bigger lies that was told today, we can see in this clip right here.
All right. He appreciate all they get this order right here.
Thank you. And there'll be no charge. Trump is paying for it. Is that okay? Yes. Oh, you go to some extra stuff.
Oh, okay, great.
This is all on Trump.
Oh, hold on.
I'm allowed to do that, right?
Yeah.
Let's check and make sure it's everything you said it would
It's
be.
better be. It's going to be the best yet. I made it myself.
You're the man. Make America
That's
great.
it. Right. Thank you, man. Thank you.
So you can see Trump telling some customers, and again, this is going to be important a little bit later, that he is paying the food. He's gonna cover it. He's gonna cover the cost, pay for their meal, which is something we've heard countless times from Donald Trump, that he'll pay for food and then leaves a restaurant without doing so. And so I expect that is what happened today at this restaurant, at this McDonald's. And I actually know that to be true because of something that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But before we do, we need a little bit more context of what Trump said right here.
In fact,
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your
I
resume?
never worked here.
Why would she lie about
15 minutes
something
more than
like that?
Kamala.
Will it be put on your resume?
Worked at McDonald's.
Why would she
No,
lie
I'm
about
saying,
that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala. That's why.
Again, he continues to push this lie, and specifically did right there, and didn't choose his words very well, because he says, I've been working for 15 minutes, which is 15 minutes longer than Kamala Harris did. Again, of course, this lie he continues to push, but in fact, it's not true that Donald Trump worked for 15 minutes. Donald Trump didn't work at all, because in a piece of breaking news that's coming out right now, that McDonald's was not open. Now, of course, if Donald Trump is going to be anywhere, there's lots of security and there's advanced planning that goes in. But what's actually the truth about the situation is pretty shocking and is kind of blowing up in Donald Trump's face because of all the lies he told about Kamala Harris. And I want to get into that right here. days before Trump was to arrive for the scheduled event at this McDonald's, a flyer was posted outside the door reading, "We plan to be closed on Sunday, October 20th until 4 p.m. to accommodate a visit at the request of former President Trump and his campaign. While we are not a political organization, we proudly open our doors to everyone, and as a locally owned and operated location, this visit provides a unique opportunity to shine a light on the positive impact of small business." Now, along with that flyer outside the door, we are also learning that there was significant rehearsal that went into this day leading up to make sure the staff was prepared to handle a Trump that really couldn't figure anything out. We have seen his brain, if we can even call it that at this point, try to operate over the last couple of days. So they had to be prepared. And specific supporters of Trump were picked out of the drive-thru, picked out of the crowd to come through. All of this was rehearsed. None of this was real. And so, as we know, Donald Trump, too, has not worked at McDonald's. So it is, in fact, true of him that he hasn't, now that he is going to claim to. And it's not true of Kamala Harris, because, of course, she actually has. Another day of Donald Trump's life where he hasn't actually done any hard work. And this is blowing up in Donald Trump's face. And of course, it's not shocking to hear lies from him. And on that topic, President Obama, at a campaign stop for Kamala Harris, was calling out a lot of Donald Trump's lies. And I want to take a look.
And yet, when Donald Trump repeatedly lies or cheats or shows utter disregard for our Constitution or just insults people, when he calls service members who died in battle losers, or fellow citizens vermin, or the enemy within, people make excuses for it. They say, well, he's not serious. He's not. Everything a president says is serious. Everything that somebody who's aspiring to office is listened to. And people make excuses for it. They think, well, it's funny, or it's okay as long as our side wins. And I've noticed this especially among some men who seem to think Trump's behavior of bullying people or putting them down is somehow macho sign of strength. I'm telling you, that's not what real strength is. Never has been. Real strength's working hard. Real strength's carrying a heavy load without complaining.
As ridiculous as they oftentimes might be, Donald Trump's lies are still incredibly dangerous. We have seen that in Aurora, Colorado. We have seen that in Springfield, Ohio, where people in those communities are having their lives interrupted, threatened, and damaged by Donald Trump and his lies. Bomb threats called in to schools where kids are trying to have picture day, for God's sakes. This is the guy who we want to put behind the seal of the presidency with those type of lies, that type of anger, grievance every single day? No, of course not. And especially as he's more deranged, which is what Kamala Harris called him out for right here.
But none of that is what we hear from Donald Trump. Instead, it is just the same old tired playbook over and over again. He has no plan for how he would address the needs of the American people. He is only focused on himself. And now, he's ducking debates and canceling interviews because of exhaustion. And when he does answer a question or speak at a rally, have you noticed he tends to go off script and ramble? And generally, for the life of him, cannot finish a thought. And he has called it the weave. But I think we here will call it nonsense. So, folks, for these reasons and more, it is time to turn the page. It's time to turn the page.
He is more unstable than ever, more deranged than ever, which makes him more dangerous than ever. And it's why he's running away, because he knows it too. because not only is he exhausted and unable to campaign because he is unfit, but he is terrified of anyone seeing that. It's the reason why he's had to cancel so many interviews, the reason why he won't debate. And it's what Tim Walz called him out for right here.
You know what? It takes a little stamina to run for president. It takes a lot of stamina to be president. So you might be asking yourself, how in the hell does Donald Trump think he's going to do this? Well, I'm sure his handlers are being pretty clear. They've got him under wraps if you haven't seen this. Look, Donald's stick is old, tired, and divisive, just like him. He's refusing to face Kamala in a debate again. Can you blame him after the butt whipping he took at that? That decision not to debate again might be the smartest thing he's done in the last 4 years. So
I love that this is a part of the closing message for the Harris campaign, calling out Donald Trump for not only being cowardly, but for just being out of it, for being in complete cognitive decline. We need to call out his instability. We need to call out how unfit he is. And the mainstream media needs to do a better job of it as well. And much like the lie that Donald Trump worked today, we are going to be calling out all of his lies on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.